You know, guys, I've learned something important today.
Was it how to become a published manga artist?
Was it how the body's immune system works?
Was it how to construct a bomb out of common household ingredients?
No, it was about believing in myself, and if I can't, I can believe in you guys that believe in me.
Lame.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I'm reading manga.
Hey guys, look what I made.
Kenny, no.
Kenny, yes.
It's over 9,000! NANI?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi!
Kawaii-Fi Radio!
Konnichiwa and welcome. You're tuned in to Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast where we dive into the world of anime and manga every fortnight. I'm Kyle, and joining me are my co-hosts Kenny, Loz, and Farah. We got a full house tonight.
Yay! Hello.
So we've all been quite busy watching anime, doing things, being the busybodies we are. And as part of that, we needed to let some of our listeners, at least those who are in Perth, Western Australia, know that you can actually, next year, see us live. Yeah.
I'm scared.
This is a big deal. So we're actually, myself, Farah, and Loz are all involved in a local convention called Hoshicon. We're helping behind the scenes, and we are also going to be having a Kawaii-Fi live panel as part of the show. So we're really excited about this. It's the first time we've ever done anything like it.
It's also the first convention in almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
Obviously COVID, of course, but also even then, we've just been a long time between conventions here in Perth anyway, so I am so excited for Hoshicon because it's just been so long.
We are very, very excited. I mean, Kyle, Loz, and I are actually going to be working behind the scenes as well, so that's we've never done anything like this before, so it's very exciting.
I was going to say, Loz, you have been involved in trying to organise a few conventions before and some other stuff.
Yeah, I've dipped my toes in the convention pool occasionally.
And Kenny's just looking at us like, I have no idea what you guys
I
are doing.
hate public speaking.
Yeah,
Why are
Kenny-
you doing this to me?
Kenny doesn't want to be on the stage and saying the things in front of the people. Maybe we'll just blindfold you and you can just
Yeah.
pretend it's just,
We
audio.
can put a box on your head.
I'm okay with this.
Okay, so you won't see
I'd be
Kenny's
cosplaying
face.
as what is it? Little Nightmares 2 character.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking Minecraft, but sure, that works.
I can do both.
We could just put you inside a fursuit or something, just hide your entire being.
Hey, I think I know a guy.
Yeah. So look, Hoshicon is a local anime convention coming up here in Perth, Western Australia. It's happening in January. We'll be putting more details up on our social media in the coming weeks as we know a bit more about what the schedule is going to be and what we're all going to be doing. But keep your eyes peeled, and if you can head to Hoshi AU on Instagram, you'll find out exactly what's going on. And also on Facebook, I believe, as well.
Yes, it is, but it's also Hoshicon on Instagram.
Hoshicon.
Yes.
Hoshi AU is the company supporting it.
Yes. Yes.
And we might be talking to them very soon, but we'll come back to that later. So let's talk about some actual anime.
Yes.
Huge.
We really need to talk about it's huge. Farah feels like this season is a bit of a letdown.
It really is. I'm sorry. I was there when we did the whole preview of all the anime and stuff like that, but not one show this season has grabbed my interest.
Not one of
not
them.
one?
Okay, maybe one.
Is it Love Live?
Akaduma Drive?
Actually, it is Love Live. But,
Of course it's Love Live. You like idols.
Love Live.
Yeah,
It has
yeah.
to be. But in saying that, there's a lot of idol shows this season, and they haven't even picked my interest either.
Yeah.
Okay, run me through because there's
There's Hypnosis Mike.
Hypnosis
and then
Mike, yeah.
Hip Mike, and
There's Hip Mike. Sorry for interrupting. Hip Mike. There's Dropout Idol Fruit Tart.
Yep.
Yep.
Love Live. There's the third season of A3.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
But there's also the D4DJ. That's
D4DJ as
been
well.
released.
So
and
that's
they're all
in that same bracket of idol and things like that. But I don't know. Even with the other shows, I started watching them and I was like, Tellus Nana and stuff like that. I was like, yeah. And then I don't know. I've actually kind of stopped.
hasn't
Yeah.
left a big impression on you.
No.
That's fair.
Yeah. And it's really sad because this was the first season this year where we could actually watch a whole.
This is the first season where it's felt like a normal season.
Right.
It really is. And even then, we've had some
okay.
which have been
Yep.
bumped back until January, which we
Yep.
thought we were meant to be getting, which is a shame. I mean, there's a lot in this season which has potential. And there are some I've enjoyed, but nothing that's immediately made me go, yes, I have to watch that every week. I'm waiting with bated breath for it to come out.
You know what I think? If we had Attack on Titan this season, that would be
Well,
it.
we do. It's December, though.
Late to the party. I kind of agree and also disagree because there are some really good shows this season, but also there are some things that I was really excited for that I was a bit let down by. Like I was really excited for the Inuyasha sequel, and it's kind of hasn't really
It feels like it's missed the
got
mark.
me in the way that I wanted it to, in the feelings, and it's just been a bit rushed and kind of everywhere.
I'm kind of getting from the sequel a little what I got from Boruto, honestly.
Yes.
It starts out just kind of like staying where it's sort of like it feels like it is. It feels like it just is a direct sequel of Naruto, that it is in the shadows of the other one, and I think that might be the same with this one.
But that's
I think
fine.
given
That's
some
what I
time,
wanted.
it might develop.
I don't know.
I don't know. For like I wanted that, but then it just doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just not as interesting as I thought it would be. I don't know.
Let's talk about what you've been watching instead, Laura, because
Yes.
you said last week that you thought this was coming next season, but it's already out.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I screwed up and I thought that Heaven's Official's Blessing was coming out next year, and actually it's out and 3 episodes are already out. So that's a bit awkward. Whoops.
Which one was this again?
So this is by the same author as Scumbag's Villain's Self-Saving System, which
which
is
we
the
talked about last
isekai
episode.
that I talked about last time, where he gets isekai'd into the online novel that he's been reading, and he has to be the villain and has to figure out how to not make the hero hate him.
So these are Chinese mangas.
These are Chinese.
manhwa.
Chinese.
Is it
Manhwa
Manhwa?
is correct, but these are actually novels.
Oh.
See, these are actually BL novels, not specifically for the boys' love aspect, but they do. That is, the main couple is 2 lads.
So you said manhwa?
Manhwas.
Oh, manhwas.
Which is like your Korean or like Chinese, basically not manga.
I was going to say there's manhwa, which I think is a lot of people use for Korean one, and I think there's a
Okay.
different term as well for the Chinese one.
Well,
But
you got me on that.
We'll,
Not sure.
we will Google that and get back to
Yeah.
you.
But yeah, this
Because
is
that's how
this
we
is
research here.
yeah, we'll just Google it on the side. This is a and I know I'm saying it wrong. I am so sorry to all of our listeners who know how to say things correctly. My bad. This is a donghua, which is basically a Chinese anime, and Lords in Heaven. Official's Blessing. This is the most beautifully animated thing I've seen in years.
Whoa.
In
Really?
years. It is stunning. Like Demon Slayer was really, really cool because of how different its animation was. But this is just beautiful. Like this
Yeah.
is just stunning. There was a little bit of, a little sprinkle of CG in the 3rd episode that I was a bit like, that doesn't need to be there. But everything else has been stunning. It's beautiful. It's about like the people that are sent to heaven, and now their jobs are to like help out the mortals and kind of go around and fix things for them. That's a really, really weak explanation of this, but I don't want to spoil anything. But go
I'm
and check it
intrigued.
out. It's on Bilibili and on Anime Lab for us Australians. So
Okay.
easy to get to. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
check
we'll
it out.
definitely have to check it out. And I can confirm manhwa for Korean, manhwa. MANHUA.
Hua.
For
I am
Chinese.
so sorry.
No,
there we go.
We've found it, and we've done ourselves an educate.
One educate, please.
One educate, please. Now let's talk about something a little bit different. Me
Speaking of
and Kenny
educate.
we're watching this, and we were looking at this for this episode, and we just kind of didn't feel like it really did enough.
No, it
Yeah.
was suggested to us The Great Passage.
Now, that's not to say it's not a good anime. It's just not what we were looking for this episode.
yeah.
We'll get into that
It's
later.
quite pretty.
I said that this was one that I brought to the table because obviously today we are doing things that we learnt from anime, and this is one thing I remember watching when it came out a few years ago, and I really enjoyed it at the time. And upon rewatching, and also from Kyle and Kenny watching it, we kind of realized that it really does end up being more of a slice of life romance as opposed to learning stuff, but it is still a beautiful series.
It's a beautiful
so.
series about the dictionary department.
Yeah,
of
making a
publisher.
dictionary, which sounds like it could be really boring, but
And I gotta
stay
admit,
with me.
I have no idea how a dictionary is made. And
Yeah.
I assume it's probably a very different system from country to country, but it's like, okay, that is now a thing I know.
I picked this word and I liked it, so I put it in the dictionary.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my thought process was. Let's make up a new word, poggers. Let's see that in the dictionary.
And how would you describe poggers? What's its dictionary definition?
Is it a noun? Is it a pronoun? Is it a verb?
Yeah, It's probably a verb. It's something that you do. Like
It's a poggers?
Yeah,
Like-
poggers.
Guy is absolutely
But is it-
poggers, mate.
Is it to pog?
To pog or to be pogged?
That is
is
the
the
question.
question.
Whether it is nobler to pog in the poggers.
God. But look, the great passage, one thing I have to say about it, that opening theme for it just doesn't make any sense with the tone for the rest
It
of it.
really doesn't.
But
Yeah, it's a bit
my
odd.
lord, the music in it is incredible.
Everything else is really stunning.
Wow.
In terms of like, I know we just made a joke about the poggers thing, but that's kind of what this is about because the main character, who's voiced by my favorite, by
I see
Takahiro
where this is
Sakurai.
going.
Look, I find the things he's in and I watch them. I love him. Anyways, he's
That's
the main
fair.
he's the main guy. He is in the sales department and he really sucks at selling things because he's really introverted. And when they're talking to him one day, he's just got a really beautiful way with words. And they're like, "Hey, buddy, you described that really well. You should really be in the dictionary department where we describe words good. Come on down." And so he switches to dictionary department. And it's kind of like, how do you describe this thing? What is the double meaning for this word? You know?
Because as it would have turned out, the dictionary department was being closed down unless they got one more member.
we need another member for our
Need another
dictionary
member for our dictionary
team.
department. All right, so let's actually get on to today's topic proper. We are looking at anime that has taught us something. It's imparted knowledge, done us an educate, if you will, as we like to say
Yay.
here. So we're looking at 3 anime that have taught us something, but there are so many more to touch on that this will probably become a recurring episode theme over the years.
I mean, I'm pretty sore that we didn't just immediately just stick Comfy Camp in here
I know, and
for all the lessons we learned
Teach
from
you how
that
to
crazy
be
narrator.
comfy.
well, no, it teaches you like things like how you can use a pine cone's oil to set a fire and stuff like that.
And how most
wow.
campsites do their firewood system, like when they're the best times. It's like, there is a lot to learn here.
Did you guys know that you can start a fire with Doritos?
Yes, because
So
the
that-
saturated fat in them so high.
Yeah, and they're really crisp, and so they go up and flame really quickly. So if you ever need to start a fire, guys, Doritos is the way.
I
But
mean,
in
you're
a, in a safe, controlled environment at a campsite, please. Like,
Please don't do this at home or
please-
sue us.
Yeah,
Kyle, this is me. You're talking
yeah.
about.
Please put the bomb away.
I'm not going to do that.
Put the bomb away. So look, hey, if you are enjoying what you're listening, consider hitting that subscribe button and join the Kawaii-Fi community. You can find us across YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Booble?
I
Podcast?
heard that. Booble.
Booble. The Michael Bublé. He's defrosting as we speak for
Oh no,
Christmas.
he's coming out of
Wow.
his cave.
It's
You can hear
the
him.
app that you attach to Poggers.
Yeah, it is. Hashtag Poggers. Get it trending. We'd love to be in your pocket for your next day off, so please
We'd love to
subscribe.
be in your poggers.
There is plenty to talk about this episode, so stay with us as we bring you the latest anime news.
Making headlines.
Really?
Sort of.
Anime news.
Well, it's time to do our regular look at what's been going on in the world of anime and manga the past fortnight, and we have to start with something I think many people will be expecting: Demon Slayer the film,
Yeah.
Infinity Train.
So excited.
So this, to say that this is a juggernaut of a train film is an understatement. I'm sure anyone who's seen Intergalactic Express 999 or any of that would be very excited that another train film is in the headlines
I
again.
love Galaxy Express. Kyle, I didn't know you knew Galaxy Express
Of course I knew
39.
Galaxy Express.
What
A
was
train
that?
in space? What's not to like?
Can
What
you-
was the
have you
one
seen
from
that?
Galaxy Express? Haven't watched it, have seen clips of it.
Yeah,
We'll have to do that
We will
sometime.
we'll have to do like a train anime episode.
Train.
I like
train
trains.
time.
God.
I was going to say, Farrah's just looking at us like, what are you on?
Trains
so look,
in space.
Demon Slayer's latest outing is a film called Infinity Train. It's what they call the Infinity Train arc, which is a story set on a train. The Demon Slayer team have to do what they do best. But here's the thing. This has destroyed box offices, and this is partly to do with
Nuts.
COVID, but it's also partly to do with the hype around Demon Slayer as well.
Well, Demon Slayer is so big in
It
Japan.
is.
And it's also big in the West as well. It's huge here, but it is really, really big.
So here's some stats for you. It has been number 1 in Japan's cinemas 4 weeks in a row. Film has the highest opening for animated films in Taiwan.
Like
all-
ever.
All time. That's
Okay.
above Spirited Away, everything else. It's topped all Harry Potter films and Howl's Moving Castle in Japan, and is currently the number 5 film of all time in Japan.
Crikey.
Now, I find it really interesting because we're still in COVID times. So how do they make those numbers up?
Because Japan is no longer in a COVID lockdown.
I see.
But also, it's the only thing showing, kind
Yeah.
of. Like,
Yeah, that's it.
I was going to say, because if you had a look at how the Violet Evergarden film did, it did really well as well for what many considered. I mean, that's twofold because of it being KyoAni and as well as it being during COVID time and there not being much to watch. But this film is destroying it. It's now the 7th highest earning film worldwide for 2020.
Insane.
We were sort of predicting that Demon Slayer was going to be this really big
but I wasn't
golden
expecting
child.
that high though.
Yeah, this is kind of beyond expectations.
well, wait though. Is the film good? Because I have like I'm assuming it's good as well.
All reports point to no. No, I mean they point to yes. They point to incredibly
I'm
yes.
assuming people keep seeing it because it's also good.
Yeah,
so that's good to know.
Apparently it is spectacular. They've apparently managed to take that animation up another notch again for the film as we usually expect, and that was already pretty substantial to begin with.
I mean, yeah, it's
so good.
It's great. It's unlike any other anime, but putting it up to another level. So it's basically, it looks like Promare with demons.
Well,
No.
think Weathering With You level of quality or Your Name level
Stunning.
of quality.
Oof.
But
Nice.
okay,
Your Name level of
now
quality,
remind me. Ufotable, UFO table. How do I pronounce it again?
You for table.
UFO table. Okay, anyway. So that studio,
Alpha Tablet.
which is already very good, Fate, Stay Night, etc., all of the pretty things that they do. And the series was already super, super cool. Like, it was beautifully animated already. So that with movie level budget and riding on the success of the anime,
But would you believe that this
Probably.
is not the number 1 animated film of the year?
no.
What is it?
What else is
I
there?
want you to take a guess. So
Akira for
Lupin?
K?
No. It's actually out of China. It's
Oh, yeah,
a
of
film called. It's a Chinese film, The Legend of Deification, and that is.
I don't know this.
Neither do I. It is miles ahead, apparently, as far as it goes. But next,
Classic China.
in third place is the recent Pixar film. I'm not sure what that one was, but that it's
Soul, I think.
something like that. It's pretty far behind, so it ain't catching up. But either way, at least if you're going to check out Demon Slayer film, you're going to really enjoy it by the sounds of it.
When are we expecting it to come out here?
I think it was ballpark February was when they were expecting the Funimation release, and that was for North America. But once again, because of the way COVID's going in North America, and depending on what happens here in Australia and the UK, it's a big question.
That's not too far if it is.
Okay, I googled the Chinese film, The Legend of
Deification.
Deification. Okay. One of the reasons why it's so big is it's the sequel to Neza, which was huge.
That was colossal.
That came out in 2019, and that was really, really big, and that's got a really big fan following as well. So that's not surprising. So apparently it's linked to that.
All right. Well,
there you go.
Let's get on to something that's a little bit more what I like to refer as comfy. We're talking about Yuru Camp, and season 2 is arriving in January as part of the January season.
Yes.
There's a second teaser trailer out now, and oh my god, I'm so ready. It's not funny how ready I am.
It's a very good show for this year. Something to help
really
us
is.
through January as we move into 2021, which unfortunately, guys, I gotta say, it's probably going to be just like 2020.
Yeah. Don't say that though.
Actually, no, you're right.
Just saying.
For some of our long-time listeners, you're probably well aware that myself, Kenny, and Coco, one of our prior presenters, was really into it. When Coco saw that this was coming out, she sent me a message straight away saying, 2020 hasn't given us much, but it has given us more comfy cab.
Aww.
And I think that's the way we have to treat it. For now, at least, because otherwise, with the
I mean, yeah, I rewatched it at least once or twice.
or 3 times, or
Yeah,
4 times.
not
I still
3
haven't
times.
seen it, and you guys keep talking about how it's so good.
We're
and
throwing it at you later.
I know.
I'm with
I'm
you,
just-
Loz, on that.
So
It just
you
looks-
can catch it on Crunchyroll. It seems like
I'll
it's
try
quite
it.
benign, but watch it because for some reason the way it's composed and the way it tracks is so relaxing and calming. It just for some reason it makes you feel really happy and relaxed and okay.
Okay, now I like relaxed and calming, but a lot of the time these shows don't hold me. Like they have to have something to like keep me there. Like Nasume's Book of Friends has got that kind of like soft kind of calming thing, but it's also got a lot of content in it. And like things like I don't know. I felt like Days at the Breakwater that we watched
Yeah.
last season. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I watched, but
Yeah.
I didn't keep me coming back.
There's
Why
definitely-
would this keep me
There's
coming
definitely
back?
something that keeps it coming back, and I can't put my finger on it, but there is the character progression and to find out how they do all end up hanging out together.
Okay.
My concern is because it's a sequel.
Mm.
Now, with sequels, they don't have a lot of like good reputation. One Punch Man, sorry, but like
Well, that was the worst of the sequels.
well, yes,
I know there's a lot of people who won't agree with us, but look, the pacing felt a bit wrong.
Terrible.
This I don't think will struggle with
Okay,
it
good.
No, I don't
because
think
they've already
so.
done Room Camp, which was a short form series in January, and that continued perfect pacing from the prior
Okay, good.
series.
And this is huge. Like I've
c-
seen merch for Eurocamp everywhere, like ever since it came out.
I think I actually know, like, one of the big draw cards for me is that it showed that this sort of thing is very, very feasible, very possible, because all of the locations that you are seeing in the show are beautiful
Yeah.
photorealistic renders.
Of real locations.
real
Okay,
locations.
so kind of like place further in the universe in terms of like cute girls doing cute things, but in cool places.
Exactly.
Okay,
And-
I'll give it a try.
And educational.
Very
We
educational.
want to learn things.
We want to learn
The
things.
one of my favorite episodes is the presenter tells you how to make a delicious Japanese style carbonara at a campfire.
Amazing.
Step by step instructions.
Yeah, you like
Full
it.
list
Like
of ingredients. It's
pasta.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so happy.
Okay,
So
all right.
on the note of happy to disappointment, Sword Art Online Progressive is now apparently just a film. It is not 12 episodes of Asuna goodness. It is just disappointment. No. So look, that's opening in 2021. A1 Pictures. I know Farah will disagree with me on
Yeah,
this.
I'm sorry. I'm loving the fact that it's a movie because Ordinal Scale was amazing.
Yeah,
And
the
all-
animation was incredible.
and everything about it, the pacing, the animation, all of it was really good. We're getting a movie with Asuna. Come on, we can't not love that fact.
Yeah, but the whole point of Progressive was to be like a remake of Aincrad,
Fair.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's supposed to be the best part of Sword Art Online, and you can fight me on that if you feel like it, but it is the original part of
Yeah,
Sword Art
true,
Online.
true, true.
Aincrad arc is the best part of it, and it was supposed to be looking more at that. So
At Asuna's
more
point
of
of
a,
view.
like maybe a in-depth look. Instead,
Yeah.
we've not doing in depth. We're doing less
Yeah,
depth.
look, I mean,
in a
I
movie.
completely agree that the production quality will be higher, but the
yeah.
thing Ordinal Scale had going for it was an original film, and
True.
therefore they could work with that pacing. This is going to require them adapting the Sword Art Online Progressive light novel series, which was the revised retelling of it. From they say it's meant to be, still Kirito's journey, but it is more from Asuna's point of view.
And we don't get much of it because
yeah.
we're getting only a movie's
We-
worth of length.
Oh,
so
Well, we
I
probably
think-
wouldn't even get 2 hours.
I think the reason being is because she's not Kirito.
Yeah.
But she's so much better as a character.
Well,
she
I
kicks so
thought-
much ass, and
be
she's so.
I thought they were going to end the series though after.
Yeah, no. So there's still the way they finished that sort of online Alicization
Yeah.
story has left it open to the next major arc, which they suspect they will finish on.
Okay.
But the books don't stop there; they keep going. So we're only
They're money
about.
making. Might
I
as well
think we're
keep
only
making.
about a third of the way through
Oh,
the recent
really?
books.
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
God,
so many
seriously?
of them.
So there's more.
So that
Yeah.
we need 120 episodes to catch up to the books at this point.
Yikes.
Or
So-
maybe one movie. Condense it
So,
all down real
just-
quick.
What is it? Like 7 books or 8 films.
Yes,
Probably why
yeah.
they're doing it as a movie because they
Sword
just want
Art
to
Kai.
get it out of the way so we can get on with the next part of the
But
story.
the thing is that this is a spin-off. Like, this isn't part of the main story, which is why it makes you go, well, just like with Gun Gale Online, why not do it as a proper 12-episode series and
course,
expand
Gun
that
Gale.
character?
And also, like, again, the reason why this series is still going is because it makes so much money. And I know that obviously films make a lot of money, but I don't really understand why we're not getting maybe a film and a series as
We
well.
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know. Well, like, we don't know much about this, but currently I'm a bit sad because as much as the production quality will be very good, we're going to get less of it.
But yeah, look, that's at least what we've been looking at this week. But it is time to have a look at what's been making headlines in anime news. Well, let's start with some good news. Kyoto Animation has been awarded the 2020 Women in Animation Diversity Award for Corporate Achievement this past fortnight. This was at the 4th annual WIA Diversity Awards. The studio was presented the award for creating an inclusive studio with a gender-balanced workplace and supporting and encouraging women to enter the animation industry. The award was announced as part of the Spark Animation 2020 event, which was run online this year from October 29 to November 8th. Studio Ghibli's upcoming CG feature film, Earwig and the Witch, is heading to Japanese screens this December, though not quite in the format we were expecting. The 82-minute feature film, headed by Miyazaki Goro, will not be heading to the silver screen, instead airing on NHK's General TV channel on December 30th. It's not been specified why this decision was made, though with the ongoing pandemic, that's likely played a part in it. Also, with the start of construction for the Ghibli theme park in the Aichi prefecture expected this year, the need for the studio to secure its financial future has become more important than ever. On to upcoming shows, and 2 big-hitting anime have announced their second season's premieres are arriving next season. First out of the ranks is Beastar's second season, which will start to air on Netflix Japan on January 5th, with new episodes airing every Thursday. No word on the international release just yet, but based on its first season, it could take up to 5 months for it to hit the international market. Heading to screens on January 7th is the second season of escaped child cattle series The Promised Netherland. The series was originally scheduled to release this season, but was pushed back due to the pandemic impacting their production timeline. The first season was shared through Aniplex of America, allowing it to stream on Crunchyroll, Funimation, Hulu, and HiDive as it aired, so hopefully it will be similar arrangement this time around. Checking out physical media, if you thought the Blu-ray release of the classic Lupin III film, The Castle of Cagliostro, still didn't do the film enough justice, we have some good news for you. Discotek Media have announced they are releasing the classic on 4K Ultra HD with HDR and 7.1 surround sound, bundled with a host of other extras. The January release is to celebrate the film's 40th anniversary, albeit delayed from its actual anniversary in late 2019. It's up for pre-order on Right Stuff Anime for Blu-ray Region A, which includes the Americas, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Those of us in the UK, Europe, India, Australia, and New Zealand will need to wait a little bit longer for a Region B and C release to be announced so we can play them on our devices. Over to the bookshelves, and the biggest news this fortnight is from the Sword Art Online franchise. Sword Art Online's spin-off manga, SAO Alternative Gun Gale Online, is coming to an end in January. The manga launched back in 2016 and will finish after the first Squad Jam arc, meaning those wanting more will have to turn to the light novel series it's based on to continue the story. And in dub news, Crunchyroll have announced the cast for 4 of this season's anime they're streaming. English dubs for Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm Standing on a Million Lives, Tonikawa Over the Moon for You, and Noblesse's dubs all launched this month on the platform, alongside dubs in Spanish, Portuguese, French, and German. Jumping over to Funimation, Season 2 of Irregular at Magic High School, Warlords of Sigdrifa, and Higurashi When They Cry Go have all had their English dubs start streaming the past week as well. And that's your anime news for the week ending November 15, 2020.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Back catalogue.
Yes, it's back catalogue time, and this is the first show we're going to be talking to you about which has taught us something. And if you recognise this...
Yeah.
You'll know exactly what we're talking about. We're talking Dr. Stone, and Farah's very happy. Kenny's very happy. He's put the bomb away. It's a good start.
It needs work.
Yes, and on that note, we also do need to... Let's just start out by saying something that's very important about Dr. Stone. It grabs you from that first note of that OP.
So good.
Because have a listen to this. This is
Let's
the
go,
cover that we
let's
got
go.
by Romy.
Thank you, Romy.
Friend of the family.
What a track. Good morning,
Also,
world.
absolutely nailed it as
Oh, he
well.
did.
Like, that sounds so...
Romy every time.
Every
Like, I
time.
love that man.
Romy's sound and the actual original, the drummer does a lot of work in that song.
I've just got such joy. Dr. Stone is like...
It's a great show.
Oh, God.
I've got chills right now from that, actually.
Honestly.
Please
Oh.
go follow him on YouTube, everyone.
Yeah, Romy. We'll put the link in the top right corner if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, look in the comments, not the comments, the episode description. That's what we call it.
We're
Yeah.
professionals.
We're professionals.
We do this all the
That
time.
thing below the video, right here. You can see me pointing, right here.
Right here, right
Here.
Look where Kenny's pointing. You'll know where to go.
No, not that here. You're over here.
Guys,
Not
professionals.
there. As we were saying, Dr. Stone, it's a fantastic series for learning about things. It's not entirely completely accurate because,
Okay.
but it is so close that it's useful on an educational purpose.
Yeah, considering this is a
Well-
shonen anime that features in Shonen Jump, so ordinarily in Shonen Jump animes, people have superpowers. In this one, it's less explicit, apart from one of the characters having like super strength and super speed, and the fact that the main character can invent things in a day, which would ordinarily take like 10.
He's got super, he's like
He's got
Professor
super
X,
brain.
okay? He's got
He's the legendary
got
super science.
incredible brain powers, and his brain is so big, and he knows all the science, and I think he's like 16 or something
He has
stupid.
the best
but-
brain, the greatest brain. It's a beautiful brain. It's very smooth.
No. We don't have
That
to do
guy's
that
brain
anymore.
is
He's
smooth.
gone. He's
Gone.
gone, Kyle.
So look,
That meme is
Dr.
dead.
Stone started in 2017. It has been running until
Really?
now in Shonen Jump Weekly. So that tells you why it's progressed so quickly and become so much, because these weekly shonen shows have kind of died for the
Yeah,
most part.
true.
We don't have them. They're not as big of a media staple as they are. We still do have One Piece and Boruto and Black Clover and so on, but they're kind of relics of an age gone by now. We're seeing things like
Yeah, like Demon Slayer
Demon
coming through
Slayer,
and really knocking them out of the park.
yeah, and they take the arc and they do a really good job of it, and they don't have to add filler, and that's what we like.
So we should get on to story time to explain
Story
exactly
time.
what we're talking about for the people who haven't heard of this anime. And yeah, our hype should be enough to get you into it. But okay, so this all starts off on a regular kind of day in Japan. Everyone's going about their life at work or school. A guy's confessing his love to his high school sweetheart. All of humanity around the world are instantly turning to stone. So, it's a kind of a normal, usual day.
It's a Thursday.
It's a Thursday, yes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Big green light that turns everyone to stone as well. It's like a green flash. It's dope.
Everyone petrified
I
in
was going to
seconds.
say there's something that could be said for stone and green light, but let's not go there.
PG, Kyle.
PG.
PG.
Never mind that.
Power Rangers.
So, yeah.
Jeez.
So yes, the end of the world has officially come in a very mysterious and unexplained way. All of civilization collapses, crumbles, and rusts into oblivion over thousands of years, leaving an Earth green and wild with only traces of humanity being the statues that once were humans. And then one day, these many thousands of years in the future, a couple of these statues crack open and release their very flesh and blood, very alive captives.
Release the Kraken.
No,
3,000 years later?
3.5, I think it is.
Something.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are high school friends Taiju and Senku, and they awaken with a plan. They're going to save humanity and bring civilization back with the power of science.
Science.
Virus, you have to say science too.
Oh, science.
Yeah, nice.
Good.
I feel like you're all saying it wrong anyway. You're supposed to say it, the power of science.
Science.
That's better.
That was actually quite beautiful. Well done, everyone. I like that. That's going in the promo. If you listen to the promo, you know.
So yeah, like most shonen animes though, I mean, you're not getting superpowers and stuff, even though like everything glows after he invents it. It's just like, look at this, I've invented pottery. Explosions.
Well,
I mean, he's not wrong though.
Yeah,
Pottery did end up involving a bit of explosions.
yeah, well, it does especially when you do it badly. It will explode in the kiln. But like you're right, like this is still a classic shonen, and it has all the classic shonen tropes, but it
Especially
doesn't.
the hair.
Yeah, especially
yeah.
the character designs, but it doesn't. It also looks nothing like, and has a lot of things that normal shonens don't have, and it's so
Yeah.
interesting because of that. When you've watched a lot of shonen anime, again talking about those big shows, One Piece, Demon Slayer, let's go Naruto, Boruto, Bleach, kind of things like that, you'll find that you kind of get the same repetitive story and
Like,
characters, whereas this does it fresh.
The main thing you learn in those shonen shows is about the world. You don't actually, you don't necessarily learn anything. I mean, I haven't watched every shonen show ever, but in my experience, I've never come away from watching, say, Naruto and gone, oh yeah, I now know something useful. Like,
I think the main point for a
other
lot
than
of
Dante
shows.
Bayor.
Well, yes, you do have to believe it. I mean, like I would say the main thing is it's character driven, and it focuses in on the main hero believing in themselves and going through a journey to defeat the thing or whatever, or the demon that's inside them all along. And Senku doesn't have any demons inside him because he's fully realized, I don't know, like 15-year-old that knows everything about science, and he can just go forward into this world and make it work.
Yeah, he
wonderful.
invents stuff that is just like, okay, I need to invent something to get me out of this situation. I'm going to invent the pulley. It's been a while. It's been a couple of thousand years, but I'm inventing that. And tomorrow, I don't know, I'm going to invent Wi-Fi.
Well, okay, just going back a little bit with the fact that everyone's been petrified and everyone's in stone statues, and hence why it's called Dr. Stone. He figures out how he got out. He figures out how long it's been because he's been counting the seconds ever since the green flash happened, and that's how he knows it's 3,000-ish years.
It's sort of like how he's maintained his consciousness while he was petrified. He's been counting the seconds with one stream of his mind and thinking about stuff with the other. He's very intelligent.
He
like
has
that.
non-linear thinking.
I would have given up
his
a long
mate
time ago.
Taiju has been sort of maintaining his sanity by only thinking about the girl he was going to confess to.
And he was about to do it, and then they got turned into stone.
It's so sad.
And then Senku's like, okay, well, we need to figure out. We need water. We need food. We need shelter. How do we figure out what to do next? Okay, we need communication. I need to get metal to do this. I need to get sulfur to do that. It's so interesting.
It's and there does come a situation because they do find a way to bring some people out of stasis. Only a few. So they have to be very, very picky, and they accidentally bring out a guy who is very helpful from the beginning.
Well, on purpose.
Well,
accidentally on purpose.
Accidentally on purpose. On purpose, he's there because he can save their lives. This guy has super strength. He's called
Fight
the
power.
ultimate primates high schooler
Or something like that.
for some reason.
Because everyone has to be like 16 for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's legit. But I mean, look, this show has so many good things in it.
But so
many
yeah,
levels.
they do bring back characters, and then that kind of like goes with the other part of like shonen. There is a whole cast of characters before the end of this that are so different from one another, so diverse in their design and from. Everyone will find a favorite person in this whole thing.
Absolutely. I also really like the moral issue that comes with this as well, because you can watch Dr. Stone and you can just enjoy the wacky science and Senku's journey, and wowee, what a good time.
Learn how to make, budget Coca-Cola.
Yeah, and you can just enjoy it for like its base level. But if you actually really think about how deep this series can actually go, like they have a moral issue where they can choose to use the formula that they found that they can stop people from being encased in stone, and they can bring back everyone. And then the guy that they brought back, what's his name? Tsukasa, who becomes basically the villain. He's like, well, why should we bring back all these people? We can now choose who to bring back. We can only bring back the Earth's best and brightest, and we can just choose to leave everyone else.
Well, he decides that the older generation would be grateful for being free, but would also succumb to the kind of the greed that made the old world pretty...
It's basically the difference in view between having an established community and world order and creating a new one. And that's the discussion, essentially.
And
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that kind of a moral issue is great and sort of does set these people apart. Tsukasa isn't just a villain. He has a motive that is kind of...
It's somewhat reasonable. I mean, it's
adamant, it's identifiable, and you can see his perspective.
It's not black and white. He's a villain. He's bad, and it's really interesting because of that. Also, Senku himself. Let's just talk about Senku because
who doesn't want to talk about Senku? Farah, do you want to talk about Senku?
Great main character.
Honestly, he's probably my all-time favorite boy.
Yeah,
ever. Like,
wow.
I mean, a little story time. I got an Apple Pen last year when the show came out and things like that, and just around that time I gave myself the show because I'm not a big fan of shonen, to be honest. Like, it's very hard to get into shonen, but I said, you know what, I'm going to give Dr. Stone a try because the idea was very like intriguing to me. That first episode grabbed me.
It blows you away, doesn't it?
It was so scary, you know, that concept of like the world just ending and just stopping, and I was just
drawn
like,
perfectly
straight into it. I remember as soon as I got the Apple Pen, I'm going to show you guys. I drew Senku.
Was that the first thing you
drew?
It was one of the first things I drew. And I'm not a good drawer, but it was that one character.
No, that's super cute.
I had to draw him. And it was just, I was so drawn to him. But, being the dub queen that I am, what an amazing dub it has.
Okay, I only did week by week in the Japanese, and I really love the Japanese.
Oh,
the dub is spectacular.
All right, let's look up this cast.
Absolutely spectacular dub. It is because I actually watched it as it was going, because at that time it was released week by week.
It was week by
It
week.
was week by
Oh,
week dub.
that's
It was
awesome.
amazing. They had to pause it like about halfway through.
Yeah, because I think that was when something happened in Japan, and then
Yes. It was like an earthquake or something, wasn't it?
no, it was this was when KyoAni happened.
Right, that's
So
right.
KyoAni happened, and they decided to not do an episode that week.
As respect for
as
what
respect,
happened.
yeah.
That's right.
No, sorry, I'm thinking of Fire Force. Same time though.
Both of them, yes.
both
it was
of them.
Both Fire
Both
Force
of them
and
did it, yeah.
Dr. Stone both said no.
Crazy to think those two were going alongside each other.
No, it was. And that's right. I do remember that. And
Mm.
they did that. And that's what threw Funimation off track with keeping up the week by week thing as well. So they went up week behind. But because I was so desperate to know what was going to happen next, I kind of went to watch it in sub. That said, I love that dub so much. I will talk highly about it. It is just so crisp. It is so very well done. I think was the fact that with all the science terms and stuff like that, I feel this anime actually deserved a dub first,
Yeah.
and then the Japanese. You know what I mean, though.
But I kind of understand what you mean. Like, if it didn't get a dub at the same time it came out, they would never have done it, sort
Nah.
of thing. Because it's one of those shows that if you don't ride on that initial hype train, it won't feel like you've done it justice, and you'll only get one shot at it. And they nailed it. It's very impressive that they did.
And kind of going back to Senku as a character, he's fantastic because he's not like this paragon of goodness and this righteous
No,
hero.
It's so
He
not.
is a massive schemer.
He is.
The arc when you get to know his dad in the space
Oh my god, I want to
station.
talk about that too. Yes,
Yeah.
space.
I can't believe how much I cried through
yeah,
that part.
absolutely.
And you know,
It's
just the
super interesting.
connections as well. My God, what a
Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but also, like, if you're interested in, if I'm saying, are you interested in space? Are you interested in science in general? Yes. Are you interested in, like, survival stories, interesting characters, and also you enjoy comedy? Because a lot of this it does have a lot of comedy in it and a
It
lot
has
of gags.
really good comedy timing, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very good comedic timing. So if you enjoy that kind of shonen comedy, you will enjoy this as well. But it is mainly character driven, and you like space and science, you will enjoy this. But
Yeah.
particularly the space arc was super, 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 super cool.
Now, I have been reading the manga.
Ooh.
I've forced myself to stop because I got to the arc that's after Stone Wars, and I finished that, and now I know where it's going, and I can tell you we're in for an amazing ride because
so
the
excited.
story doesn't drop off.
Okay.
It continues very strongly.
See, I wanted to pick up the manga as well because I was just so curious. But then at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm an anime viewer. I want to just be
gotta wait for it,
excited when
yeah.
it drops, kind of thing.
There is
see,
also
I-
something really exciting about waiting and then
Yeah.
getting it again. Yeah.
You see, I just couldn't do it.
That's super fair.
I got really disappointed when it got delayed, and I was like, nah, I want to know.
But it's just like, because the whole thing, there's a very sort of episodic nature to it. There are sort of like the overarching
at the
plots,
start, yeah.
but it's more that each episode you're learning something new, and that's what's great about this. Because he will invent something. He invents like distilled alcohol as
Yep.
part of
Yep.
the thing to bring back people from being stoned. He
But also
invents
for medicine as well, which is
Exactly.
also really, really interesting.
And
there's a
I-
whole
I
arc on
also-
inventing certain medicines.
I greatly enjoy how they show you that visual roadmap of how they get
Yes.
from the original ingredients to
Yes.
what they're trying to build.
and how each thing that they're inventing to get to that goal still has uses for something else that will better their world.
you know what? I'm gonna watch it again.
Bye, guys. We'll be back in a sec.
Something else I sort of found, the fan response. I mean, everyone bloody loved it.
Now,
Some people.
I do have to ask. Senku has some pretty interesting nicknames online.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
I saw that. Can you please enlighten us on what some of these nicknames are for Dr. Senku, as we want to call him?
For Dr. Senku, his nicknames include Rock Doc, Professor Pyrite, Granite Graduate, the Dolomite Doctorate, and in honor of him actually inventing soda and cola that one time,
yeah.
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper definitely works.
Dr. Pepper definitely.
I
I'm
works.
just love
surprised
that.
he has not like broccoli or something because he has like leek hair.
He does. But look, we could literally spend the entire episode talking about Dr. Stone. We do need to move on and talk about some of the other shows that we need to get onto. But look, you can catch Dr. Stone. I believe it's on Crunchyroll.
Yes. It's
on all of them,
Pretty much
yeah.
across the world and most Funimation services as well. So check it out. You
See
will
it, it's great.
Go
you won't be
learn
disappointed.
something.
Yeah. But we'll be right back after this about how, a young boy can draw a manga and then accidentally marry a postbox.
What? Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Back catalog.
Postbox.
Postbox.
This is
Postbox?
okay.
Postbox.
Well,
Well, a letterbox. Letterbox.
Letterbox.
Letterbox pillar.
well, no. It's just
Okay. We're talking about Bakuman. I will let Loz take this,
Yeah.
but she showed us this
Stop talking.
fantastic episode where the main character confesses to a girl he likes, and by accident. And it goes well in a way, and then the next scene visualizes him marrying the post
It's
box.
like the intercom because
intercom.
he's talking to her via the intercom, and so
So
instead of him
bad.
being like, yes, we're going to get married, and it's him and Azuki like pictured in the wedding dress, it's like the intercom in the wedding dress.
It's so good.
And this is the first episode, so that's the first episode.
Wait,
I
that's
showed you guys.
first episode.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So, to my extreme disappointment, none of you guys watched Bakuman, and I'm very
No,
disappointed because I know you're gonna really like it.
Because we can't find it or get it here.
I
That's
know,
the problem.
It's really
So-
true, and then I feel really grumpy. That I feel really grumpy. I English good.
Do
I'm
you?
very disappointed that it's difficult to find on a
I
subscription
know,
service.
because it's on Hulu
It's
in
on
the
Hulu.
US.
We can't access in Australia.
Yeah,
because
and they
of
hold the world
Australia.
license for it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so it means we can't get it anywhere else.
So we'll see it might be a case that someone like SBS here picks it up, or someone like that, like one of the independent groups which hasn't got a world broadcast
Okay.
right. But
It's also on Netflix in Japan.
Yeah.
So you can access it
So-
through Japanese Netflix.
we
but
could do that.
Surely that would be a case that might even land on Netflix in the near future. If it
I'd
gets a
really
dub.
hope so.
I hope
It's
so.
a
Or
really
you get a
good show.
VPN.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing: Bakuman, the anime, ran from 2010 to 2013. So if it was going to go international straight away, Netflix would have brought the rights internationally for all of it, or at least fairly soon after,
So-
because they do like to do that with their launches.
So what's the story?
Yeah, let's
what's
get on
the
to this. Story time. I like
story
story time.
Okay, so there is many reasons why I wanted to do Bakuman as something as like an anime that taught me something. Because as much as we are doing like Dr. Stone and also our third one as well, they taught us all these science things. I kind of wanted to do something that taught us a bit more about the anime industry. And there's other shows that tell you about the anime industry. Keep Your Hands Off Ezoken was one from last
Yep.
season.
Yes.
As well as Shirobako is about the anime industry. And there's lots of shows that are also about voice acting as well. So there's lots of different shows that do that.
Farah's just sitting there
She's
quietly
excited.
going completely off cams about wanting to
Talk
she's
about Shirobako.
she's
yeah,
running away.
She's running
she
away.
doesn't want to talk about Shirabaku. She just loves it far too much. It's shocking.
I think I made her laugh, and now she's coughing.
Yeah, because she was drinking. Sorry, Farah, we've killed you slightly.
But yeah, Shirobako is something that Farah and I want to talk about another time because I didn't realize Farah had seen it, and Farah and I had we had a moment.
We had a moment.
It was a nice moment.
Well, me and Kenny looked at each other and just went, easy breezy. Easy breezy. And then everyone looked at us strangely, and that's fair.
We got to make you guys watch Aizuken one of these
Yeah.
days. It's great.
So we will do an episode. We've got to
think,
make
yeah,
this list.
Absolutely, we need to do an episode on anime industry, just the anime industry. But this is looking at manga, and as far as I know, I mean, feel free to at me, I guess. There is no other series that really goes into in depth on how the manga industry works, or does it as well as Bakuman.
It's more about the professional side of things.
Yes. So this is basically how to become a mangaka, how manga is made, literally from the idea of I want to make a manga to getting to the point of making a manga, as well as it is a slice of life romance as well. It's very, very sweet, very, very soft as well.
Because it's kind of following the two main characters. One has an idea for manga he wants to do, and his mate is like a brilliant artist. Yeah,
I'll give you the synopsis. I believe this is just kind of, I think I pulled it from Wiki and like changed it around a little bit.
Because that's what we do here.
That's what we do
We do
here.
original. We don't just copy and paste the
We
mail
don't just
rewrite, do we?
plagiarise.
No.
I write my own.
Yes,
Yeah.
you did. You
I
did good,
I
Kenny.
do effort. Do you guys not do effort?
Yes, we do.
Work
We
smart,
do.
not hard, which is something you can actually learn from me today. Anyway, so the synopsis is for Bakuman. Despite being a talented artist, middle school student, so something to keep in mind, these kids are 14 at the start. They're very,
Okay.
very young. Middle school student Moritaka Mashiro, or nickname Psycho, so he goes by that for pretty much most of the series.
Psycho.
Psycho. Not as in like psycho, as in like you are a psychopath.
Oh, okay, cool.
Psycho as in SAIKOU.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was literally thinking what Kenny was saying. I was sitting there going, ooh.
The bathroom music. Anyway,
Yeah.
so despite being a talented artist, middle school student, Psycho is unsure about his future, as I'm sure we all were in middle school.
Oh, yeah.
Accepting that he'll simply just live a normal life, just become a salaryman, you know, stuff like that. But after seeing one of Psycho's drawings in class, his classmate Takagi, who goes by Shujin, is his nickname. He's an aspiring writer, and he says, "Hey, we both love manga. Your drawings are sick. I want to write manga. You do the drawings. It'll be great." And Psycho's like, who are you? And no, thank you. But they do talk together. They talk about it, and they come up with, you know what? This would be good, and we can do this. And when Shujin finds out that Psycho's uncle used to be a very top-tier manga artist with a very, very big series that he was a big fan of, he's like, well, this is fate. I was a big fan of your uncle's series. You have to be the one to make a manga with me. But the reason why Psycho is so unsure about being a manga artist, it was always his dream as a kid, is because his uncle passed away 3 years ago from overwork. So it was the manga industry that actually ended up killing his uncle in the end. So he's got conflicted feelings about that. Dying from overwork is something that is definitely a thing in Japan, and it's also prevalent in the anime industry.
It's a big issue, and we've mentioned that on a few occasions.
Yeah, it is truly awful. Anyway, back to this fun, exciting anime that isn't sad.
Yeah. Not sad at all.
Anyway, so these two decide, we're going to make a manga. It's going to be great. And you know what? You, Psycho, you're in love with this girl. I can see it every time you look at her. You're so in love with her. And I think what we need to do is we need to tell her that we're going to do this, and it's going to inspire you to do it, and it'll be great. And she wants to become a voice actress. So they go to her house, and they're like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to write this manga together. And then she's like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I'll be your main character in your anime when it eventually comes an anime. And then in like the spare of the moment, again, this is the first episode, the spare of the moment, Psycho was like, once we both make our dreams come true, will you marry me? And she's like,
and then the door gets closed.
and then she like runs inside, and then she's like, okay, via intercom, she's like, well, yes. But until then, you know, we got to work hard in our dreams, so no dating and such. And they're like, that's fine. That's chill. It's very sweet.
But
it's
if you
so
think
soft.
about, so that happened in the first episode. That like clears up an entire plot arc that would have taken 30 episodes in any other anime.
we don't need to worry, like, and they're so devoted to each other. It's really wholesome. So they kind of like support each other via email and stuff like that as well. It's very sweet. Anyway, that's not the main part of the series that we're talking about. Sarah.
Now, I have not seen the series because I'm like, Carl, this should be our show that
This
we
is our
watch.
type of show.
That's why I wanted you to watch it.
As you
By the
all
way-
know, I am a tragic for romance animes.
Exactly.
Amen.
Yep.
But
have
you
that.
only like terrible romance. This sounds nice.
No,
so this isn't you at all.
I was going to say this is apparently just too wholesome for me. I need my domestic no trash fire.
Yeah, same here. but in that sense, are we glamorizing the industry with this type of anime?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And so they really tell you about the nitty gritty and how super, super hard this is to get there. And they struggle so hard. And that's why this story is so incredibly good. So the pair starts creating manga under the pen name Mutu, like Asogiri, I believe. Asogiri, yeah. Hoping to become the greatest mangaka in Japan. Now, it does take a few episodes to kind of get started on the actual manga because they have to have this character interactions first. But it really shows the difficulty and also the steps. So when you don't just draw a manga page, Psycho goes to his family and is like, hey, I know that my uncle died doing this, but hey, I'm going to do it too. And mum is like, no. But eventually dad and granddad are like, look, that's my son and that was my brother. And he died doing what he loved, and we know that you loved it too. And so here is his studio. Here's the key to his studio. If you are serious about this and this is what you were going to do, do it. Like, make it a thing.
Yeah.
Don't be weak on your dream. Like,
Man, that is heavy.
It's awesome.
That's good.
And so they pretty much they get this huge manga studio where his uncle used to work, and they start from very scratch. So we have to figure out, okay, we need to write a story. What do we do? So Takagi makes hundreds of stories in these notebooks, and they're just stacked in this pile, and they go through them together, and he's like, this is an idea with this is an idea with that, and he's got this beautiful imagination. So and when in the series they go through all the stories together, and I love how they animate it. It's really cool. They'll show like the manga that they've made for that particular story. And it also shows how Psycho starts learning with all the different types of manga pens, because when you draw, you don't just draw with pencils and stuff like that.
No.
There's different types of inks, and then it shows you how the toner works and how you cut out the pieces to make the backgrounds. And it's really interesting watching these manga works come together.
Yeah.
How it starts from a name, which is the name as in like someone's name. Is what like the base manuscript is, and then you go to the next manuscript, and then you go to like the sketch page, and then you go to the manga page with the toners and ink. So there's lots of like process in it as well. So it's really interesting to see the process that they go through to make something.
Now, this manga was, again, another Shonen Jump series.
Yes, and it's by people you know.
Is it?
You may know some of their other series.
Is it Oh Great?
No.
Oh, I love Oh Great though. He's
yes,
so great.
he is. He is indeed great. But you may have heard of a small series. Perhaps you've heard of Death Note. So this is by this is by the expert manga duo of Takashi Obata and Sugumi Oba.
You heard about Death Note?
Yes.
No, I definitely don't know about Death
Haven't heard of
Note.
Death Note.
It's 4 live action films, it's live action series, it's live action drama, it's rom-com spin-off, or it's Netflix adaptation.
He said with deep sarcasm in his voice.
Or it's manga.
No, definitely not the manga or the light novels either.
And if
Said
you're
with
if you're cool
sarcasm
like
that
me,
burned a hole in the curtain.
Kenny, if you're cool like me, maybe you are, Kenny, you might have also heard of Hikaru no Go, which is a
Hey.
really old, it's their first series that they did, and it was about shogi.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is also really cool. And I want to do a board game episode, guys.
We are doing a board game. I have the list. I have a list right here with
I
things
want
that we need to do
board
on
games and like Chihara Furu, Hikaru no Go, all Saki, all of those cool series about board games.
I
Anyway,
want to do another enforced viewing.
I do want to do another enforced viewing.
anyway,
That's in the
we're
new
talking
year.
about manga.
So the anime ran from 2010 to 2013. Manga ran from 2008 to 2012. Now, does the anime finish the series?
Yes, and it's 3 seasons and by JC Staff.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. The director for JC Staff, it's a pretty good anime. Like the animation's pretty good. The director is Kenichi Kasai, who also did Honey and Clover, Toradora, Summer
okay.
Sailor Moon. So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But
I'm in
That's
then.
good pedigree.
Oh, yes.
even though I'm saying all of this, the series is very, very good, and the voice acting is very, very good. I love how it's animated. It's very hard to say you should go watch this anime about making manga, because there's a big case for the manga is better.
Yeah.
Because it is, you know, it's presented in the style that you're actually reading, so you can kind of almost have an appreciation of the thing that's right in front of you. So you
Yeah.
get that little bit extra. And as someone who, I used to own the manga actually a while ago, and then I lost a lot of things. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. And I sold a lot of things as well. But yeah, I used to have it. And it is a beautiful series, but I still think the anime is quite good. It does does also have a dub.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
So look, check it out. It is on Hulu. If you are unfortunately stuck on an island like us in Australia, I mean, we might have we don't have COVID, but we also don't have access to Bakuman. So that's the downside, I guess.
Rip.
But look, we do need to go on to our last one, and it's all about cute little girls wearing yellow hats.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Back catalogue.
I'm getting really good at these segues.
Really?
Yes.
Are you really?
No,
was that
it's
good?
terrible.
Oh,
We're talking about cells at work, and yes, there are adorable, cute girls.
Work.
you
Which
should
are the
just seen the
platelets?
way I looked at Carl just now. It was I was not impressed.
You were not impressed at
She
all.
said with her eyes.
Which is actually from an anime we will never talk about because it was awful, that line.
Okay.
There's a line where there's an anime where there's a penguin that appears, and it's really a creepy penguin, and it's just like it has this horrible deep voiced inner monologue, and every sentence is ended with "he said with his eyes."
What is this?
You don't want to know.
Okay,
We'll talk about it off
Evangelion
air.
has a penguin.
Yeah.
Mario,
No,
penguin
it's
drum.
it's nothing you've probably watched. It was about 3 years ago.
Let's talk about
Moving
something
on.
nicer. The stuff that happens inside your body.
Yes.
That
well,
was
You
a
are
segue.
reaching an age where you might notice some changes.
Oh no.
things might not be going so well. And,
Cells at work. Series was so much fun.
All right. Well, Farah and I have got to carry over this one, I feel, because you and I adore this series.
Oh, definitely.
Like-
It was just beautiful. Like, I learnt a lot about my own body just from watching the show.
Same. Like, I never did human bio in high school.
I did.
Yeah.
And if I had this show when I was doing human bio, I would probably got A's every single time.
Yeah. No,
because it
fair.
just goes through, and it was like simple ways of like explaining body parts with anime, with cuteness, with all that niceness
with
of anime.
the super buff T cells.
Oh my god. Okay, so just for people who have no idea what Cells at Work is, and maybe perhaps you've lived under a rock, that's okay. It was a huge hit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's kind of everywhere.
Cells at Work's anime came out in 2018. It's Shonen Anime. It's in Shonen Sirius, which is a monthly manga magazine in Japan. That's been running since 2015.
Wicked.
The 2018 anime was done by David Productions.
Same as JoJo.
Yep, it's very good quality. There's
is
12
why it's so
episodes.
good.
There is a film coming. Season 2 lands in January, and a spin-off short form is coming as well, end of next year, allegedly. That one hasn't been confirmed, but we've seen it on ANN and a few other sources saying it is in the works, so we'll see what
But
happens.
so yeah, the whole thing about this show is that it takes place within a body. Each of like the cells
Yeah.
and sort of like the
Anthropomorphized.
yeah
They're
anthropomorphized
humans,
to have look like your standard anime character, big hair, big eyes, big hopes and dreams.
I have a wonderful synopsis for you.
Oh, tell us about it.
Inside the human body, roughly 37.2 trillion cells work
a lot.
energetically 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Fresh out of training and cheerful and somewhat airheaded, our main character, red blood cell AE3803, wow, real personal, is ready to take on the ever so important task of transporting oxygen, and as usual, white blood cell U1146 is hard at work patrolling and eliminating foreign bacteria seeking to make the body their new lair. Elsewhere, little platelets are lining up for a new construction project. They're fixing this artery. It's lovely.
Platelets are so cute.
So this episode, in this episode of Red Blood Cells at Work, so it deals with wounds and allergies, getting lost on the way to the lungs, and bickering with similar cell types over not having enough oxygen supply because of issues that are affecting the body. And
So interesting.
every episode is a different trauma the body's going through, but none of them are really too traumatic.
No, so in Cells at Work, is it Cells at Work Black?
Which is what the next season is in January.
Yeah, so that's
that
like
is a failing body.
a lot more of a problematic things. Whereas this is kind of someone gets food, so the body they're in gets food poisoning, allergies, a fever,
The common illnesses that a person
Yeah.
get.
yeah, heat stroke, things like that. So, and it's how the body reacts to it. So not only are the red blood cells carrying the little boxes of oxygen from the heart around to the lungs and kind of shivering them around the body, and then what happens when, oh no, the body's in heat stroke. Oh no, how do we fix this? And the alarms go off, and then suddenly
All the blood cells are
Yeah,
lying
there's-
on the ground.
What
There's
do
a
we do
control
now?
room and stuff.
It's actually funny because the previous episode that you guys recorded, the reason why I wasn't here was because I actually got a heat stroke.
Did you watch that episode to learn what happened to your body?
I completely forgot about the episode. If I knew about it, I would have been like, well, I could have fixed myself. But yeah, now that it's like, all those common illnesses that people get, it was very clearly explained through the show.
But there's also kind of like a horrifying element to it as well. I think in one of them, the body that they are in gets a simple cut.
yes,
Yeah.
Yep.
and all the
I-
red blood cells and white blood cells falling out the hole. And
Yeah,
you're
they're
like,
sucked out
"No!"
like it's a black hole. They're being
It's-
sucked into it.
it's
It's like,
And the
oh my
plates
god,
have to come
that's
across and
horrible.
fix it. For those who perhaps maybe never did human biology, or perhaps didn't listen in class, looking at you,
If there are holes, blood go out. Yeah.
the way that platelets work is they are what helps your blood clot.
They're sort of the construction
Yes.
team.
Yeah,
They're
and they
literally learning
they
this
come
from Red
across
Cells at Work. So.
and they kind of fix things up and they kind of sew you on back together. So it's very cute. Now, Farah, question.
Yes.
When you had heat stroke, were you flushed?
I was. I kind of felt very dizzy as well. So
Do you know why you were flushed based on what you've
No.
seen in Cells at Work? I can explain it to
Please
you.
do.
So the reason why you were flushed is because all the red blood cells, as is shown in the episode, are now having to walk around and go closer to your skin in a way to basically move around your body. So they're trying to basically bring more liquid around your body to cool
Yeah.
you down a little bit. So it's kind of your body's trying to cool yourself down.
It's science with
interesting.
Dr. Laws.
It's science, but that was really badly explained.
But it kind of makes sense.
But
I was
kinda,
just going
yeah.
to say, do you know why your face is red? Because all the blood cells went there.
Yeah, it's because like your blood basically
That's all I
rises to your
got.
face and like goes through your skin, so it's going closer.
Oh, like through the
to-
pores?
Yeah,
or?
no, not through.
Not
your pores.
close,
It goes
okay.
basically through the capillaries in your skin layer, and it kind of wants to bring the liquid closer.
Like
to
the
your
scene
skin.
where we saw red blood cell in the really tight corridors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trying
okay.
that's a capillary. That's what it was showing, which was really cool.
Now, I'm actually a teacher in real life. So
Mm.
Me
if
too.
I had a show like this to show the kids in the class,
Yeah.
you know, I would be teaching them science. I'd be getting so
Absolutely.
much out of it. You know?
I love that idea. It's just like it's like open your textbooks to page 34. No, it's go to episode 1
Yeah.
Of Cells at Work.
Cells at
And
Work.
we're going to talk about histamines and antihistamines, like shown in the pollen episode.
Yeah.
Why? And like in the essay question is now when the B cell used too much of the histamine, why did the body start crying? It's because you use too much histamines, and that's why you start crying if you've got like wet eyes and dry eyes.
Now, I also have to bring it back to the dub. Because the
Oh,
dub
yeah, the dub's
is
very good.
Dub's very good.
Jeremy Lee is the main actress
We
in this
love-
one, and I
we
love
stan.
Jeremy Lee because I've met her so many times. She's absolutely wonderful.
Aw.
She probably knows me on first name basis now, but anyway, that's another story. But she
Ooh.
actually sang.
Name dropping.
She actually sang when I was in the panel in Melbourne last year. She actually sang the
opening?
opening theme.
Oh,
That's wicked.
And it's on YouTube. You can go and have a look at it and everything like that. I think they actually use it in the dub
Yeah, they
opening
do.
as well.
Yeah, it's very cute.
So, but the way she does this character,
She
oh
just
my
nails
Lord,
it?
Just nails it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She really
it's
does.
Just perfect.
Well, look, this is a show that is definitely worth checking out. Even if you're not, necessarily very much into like medical stuff. Like I get a bit squeamish with medical dramas and stuff like that, but I love this. This isn't
this
in
is
anywhere.
cute.
This isn't anywhere in that.
It's not even really handling it as a medical thing. It's handling it as an anime. These are
Exactly.
monsters invading a city full of people.
And they fight them off.
Did this show come out the same time as Promised Neverland?
Yes, 2018.
Because it's really nice having this really nice, light-hearted, learning about your body. And then you have the Promised Neverland.
So no, so this was 2018. Promised Neverland was early 2019 because we just started the podcast at that point.
Okay.
So because we did do that as a preview and we were really excited about it. But yeah, look, this is definitely worth checking out.
I want to say one more thing about actually all of our shows, and that is if you go onto YouTube or Reddit or whatever, there are people like reacting to these shows and kind of going through and judging the science or judging and saying, hey, yes, actually Bakuman is a really good representation of the manga industry, and it shows you how rough it can be and how hard it is. And then engineers reacting to Senku and how he makes
I
stuff.
saw that.
And then there's a
doctor who reacts to cells at work.
The doctor that's talking about cells at work is really interesting because he works with cancer. This particular doctor of the article I was reading, and in one of the episodes, it's a cancer episode.
I was going to say,
and this is I didn't know this.
I've never felt so sad for cancer cells outside of that episode.
Yeah, look.
Holy
I
cow.
mean, yes and no, but it's really interesting because one thing that I learned this in particular, and that is we always have cells that are kind of becoming cancer cells in our body, and our body's continuously fighting them off.
Yeah.
And the professor was like, you know what? Yes, that's like, you know what? This is pretty good. This is not a bad way to describe it. Good analogy. Clap, clap. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So I'm pretty sure this one's got a Funimation dub.
Yes.
And
Well, it's actually the LA dub.
the LA dub. Okay.
Funny hired them out to do it, but
And it's
actually
all of
LA.
the Persona 5 voice actors.
Yes, it
Once
is.
again, which is why I like it.
But I'm pretty sure this is on most of the Funimation services at the
this is
moment.
on Anime Lab for us.
But we do need to wrap it up, so do check it out. So just to recap, Dr. Stone, Bakuman, and of course Cells at Work, definitely worth checking out to give you a bit more from your anime if you want that bit of education from
Watch each of them so that you can sound smart to all your friends.
it. Yeah.
Science.
And then
Get
you,
a superiority
and
on
then
them.
you can be like me and go, blood stuff goes out when whole. Because,
Blood goes out,
amazing.
platelets fix whole. Also, I made some Coca-Cola by using coriander and lime and honey, and
I
that's
would not drink that. Sorry.
I would
apparently
drink
it's really
that.
good.
Let's do it.
People have made
Let's
it.
make that.
Let's
People
make a
have made
video.
it.
I'm doing it. Oh my
Yes.
Lord.
Yes, people have made Senku's Cola, and apparently it's pretty good. I
Count
super want to
me
try
out.
it.
I'll watch you guys doing, but no, thank you.
No, we'll do it. It'll be great.
Awesome. We better wrap up. We'll be right back after we go on a little trip.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
What a trip that was.
Yes, we went to Antarctica and back and all that.
Place for the universe. We've mentioned it twice now.
We have. We need,
We need to talk about
to
it
do an
properly.
episode
What
on
a
it.
great show.
It really is. So look, that is where we need to leave things for this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Next episode, we're going all in on conventions because we figure
All in.
it's about time we do talk something about them.
Yes, so obviously we've got Hoshicon we mentioned at the start of the show, which is super exciting. So we are going to mention Genkishin, is that correct?
Genshiken as
Genshiken,
well, yeah.
which is of course the otaku anime, and we're going to be talking a lot about our Perth conventions, our experience with conventions, and anime that feature conventions.
And also, how on earth do you go about making your own convention? We'll breach that topic with the organizer of Hoshicon, so we'll have her
Excited to
on
talk to
for the next episode. But look, stay tuned. We will be back in 2 weeks' time for that.
If you enjoyed what you've heard on this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button and for the alerts for the future episodes.
And if you'd like to join our Kawaii-Fi community, because it's nice to belong, don't forget to head over to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter pages for breaking anime news and memes and videos.
But belonging, like, you believe in the me that believes in you.
No, I believe in the bomb.
You believe in the bomb, yeah.
I
That's about
believe.
it.
Boy.
Kenny, no.
Kenny, no.
You've been listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time,
Watch some anime!
Don't make bombs at home.
I'm not disarming it.
Oh, God.